So I guess we will start this with Mr. Tyndall's. What is debt?
What is debt?
Can you define debt for us?
Well, debt is it's value from the future that you want it now. You want to experience it now, and so you will have to pay for that somehow. So you pay a cost in order to access something from the future now,
Yeah.
which is time, energy.
It's front-loading pleasure and back-loading pain.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
The backloading of pain, and not the back pain in which you experience, but the backloading of pain
No, it's not bulge disc.
is the aspect of debt that is so hard to experience and feel, and it's like it's pernicious, and the word pernicious means it's a slow evil degradation. It happens without your knowingness. So
debt does, like the debt
yeah,
snowballing up.
yeah. So because you can't feel it in the moment, you get the good stuff. You get the debt for the car.
Yeah.
You get the debt for the house. You're living it. You're like, wow, like life's great.
The quick dopamine.
The dopamine and the whatever it is that you want.
Why do you think debt then was created for society?
Debt's not an evil thing. Debt's not a bad thing. However, and I hear a lot of people in my life who do understand money more than most say, we've got too much debt in Victoria. We've got too much debt in Australia. There's too much debt in America. When are we going to pay off the debt? Well, that whole concept, you're framing it in the wrong sense.
Well, we're talking about societal debt, not personal debt at this point, aren't we?
This is societal debt, but any type of debt, however you want to understand it, whether it's debt, borrowing money for a car, borrowing money for a house, or borrowing money to fund a government, it's the same mechanism, but it just operates differently in each exposure to the debt. But it's completely misunderstood. It's not a bad thing. It's not an evil thing. It's a really, really helpful thing. I actually wouldn't be in the financial position I'm in without using debt the right way. And then you can use debt the wrong way and become a debt slave.
All right. Well, that kicks off a really interesting conversation because, you know who Robert Kiyosaki is, yeah? The guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yep.
Yeah, he's all for debt. So... And his whole thing was leveraging debt to buy property. And then, there's been for a really long time playing the debt managing property game, and leveraging equity. It seems like we're transitioning a bit out of that as a society because property seems to not be working as much. So how can debt be positive? Because people do get caught up in the debt spiral and then they invest potentially in the wrong things.
I will take as much debt as the bank will give me.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. What? Talk to me about that. Why?
Because I know how to use that money that they're giving me at a low interest rate. I know how to use it to beat the interest rate. All I have to do is beat, if they're going to give me $1 million at 5%, or what happened during COVID, they'll give you $1 million at 2%.
Yeah.
What happened? Everyone went, yeah, we'll have some of that. Or smart people who understood money went, give me as much of that as you can, please. And I'll go store it in scarce assets.
Yeah.
As long as you can service the debt of a 2% interest rate. Now, 2% on $1 million per year is $20,000.
Right.
You can afford that.
Yeah. So whatever you borrowed, you need to be able to cover the interest payments on them. But then what you do with that borrowed money needs to leverage you a higher percentage income back
than 2%.
Than that 20,000. So if you were leveraging that $1 million and making $30,000 and paying $20,000,
I could have made 3%. Yeah. And that's called, it's the word is a hurdle rate.
A hurdle rate.
Hurdle rate is what you're trying to beat in terms of your return on money. If I borrowed $1 million and put it into the stock market that on average returns 10%, don't even have to think. I'll just buy an index of the entire Australian stock market or the US stock market. Might go up and down. It might go down 20% this year, but over the long term, it doesn't matter because it's going to return approximately 10%.
Wow. Okay.
So if I'm borrowing at 20,000, the more debt you give me, the more I can use that same principle. And the compounding works exponentially. The more you have, the more growth you can have.
Is there risk involved in that? There's risk in everything.
There is risk in everything, and that's a conversation that we probably need to have another time, because risk is not understanding what you own and why you own it. That's a risk.
Okay.
People would say, and people do say, Ryan, the things you're investing in are so risky. And I'm like, they're not risky because I understand the risks.
Would you feel comfortable like letting out like a couple of your investments, like where this is going?
Yeah. So I leveraged and I borrowed as much money as the bank would give me to buy Bitcoin last year.
Yeah.
Whatever I had, I sold a townhouse to buy Bitcoin.
Wow.
Because I understood the scarcity of it. It is a digital property, and it's less volatile than what people now think. People often view it as a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi schemes don't, once it's caught out as a Ponzi scheme, it doesn't bounce back up.
Yeah.
The chart of Bitcoin, it goes up and it crashes. It goes up and it crashes. It goes up and it crashes. And now it's constantly making all-time highs over 15 years. Value is completely subjective. That's what we ended last conversation about. What is the intrinsic value of a thing? Well, there is no intrinsic value of Bitcoin because that desk cost $100 to make.
Yeah.
It has an intrinsic value of $100. Will I pay $75 for that? Probably. Will I pay $150 for it? No.
Yeah.
Because I know how much it's worth. That's an intrinsic value of the desk. Another, and look, there's a whole facet of reasons as to why I did that, but it comes down to conviction. So I understood, based on the work that I'd put into it, reading 15 books about money and Bitcoin purely last year, listening to thousands of hours of podcasts and information in regards to it. I understand it, and in my mind, there is no risk.
You educated yourself.
I educated myself. The risky thing is not doing it.
Yeah.
I saw risk in not doing that crazy thing that everyone told me I was crazy, and yet it's doubled in that time. So,
wow.
Another investment that I've made is in a penny stock. It's in cybersecurity on the ASX. Now, it shot up in 2020 from 5 cents and it shot up to 60 cents.
Wow.
So I put a couple of $1,000s into it at 5 cents and it jumped. Like, it was worth $20,000 at one point.
Wow.
And over the space of 5 years, it has slowly trended down and it's got back to 5 cents, back to 6 cents. Now, what you do in that moment is important. If you don't believe in the thing and you don't have any conviction, you sell it and you move on and you find something else.
Yep.
But along that time, and I don't know anything about investing in this when I bought that, I was like, what's going on here? I don't understand this. I need to understand it. I put the work into understanding it. Most people don't put the work into understanding a thing. Or they take for granted on here's how the system works, and I'm not going to ask questions. I'm not going to question the way it works. So blah, blah, blah. Like, I guess that's just the world is how it is. I'm like, I've always been contrarian by nature. I've always said, but why do you think that? Like, that's not true. Like, let's validate what you're saying, not just trust what you're saying as true. I just want to focus on this last point, which is during that slide, I learned more about it and I bought more. I bought and bought and bought all the way down to 6 cents.
Wow.
And then the thing happened because, markets are irrational. Then there's no rhyme or reason as to why they do things. They are herd psychology and they operate based on psychology and market macroeconomics, not an intrinsic value. The business is worth this. It's objective. It is what it is. It is worth $100 million. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's how it works. That isn't how businesses and listed companies work. And because and now it has reflected its share price more fairly after it was valued around $16 million a month and a half ago. Now it's valued at $60 million.
Right.
And because I've bought more and more and more, and the compounding effect of that nature. Now, for the moment, it's right. It could go to 4 cents, and I could lose my shirt. But I don't think it will, because I've got a level of risk here that we're valuing the company at $16 million, but they made $10 million the year before. Well, they valued too low. That doesn't make sense. There's risk there. They might have capital raised. They might have diluted the shareholders. It all sounds extravagant the way that I'm explaining this, but it's that's why you got to put the work into understanding it, into understanding how the mechanisms of the market and economics and money work. Because learning about it, making those 2 bets have skyrocketed me past anyone's ability to own a house.
Yeah.
And the money that they have in their house.
So good debt. So you're describing right now what you just described was what you originally described, which was you've gotten a chunk of money, you've been able to put it into something that you believe and you've educated yourself around is going to pay you back more than the interest rate on whatever it would
more than the hurdle rate. That cool. I could pay down my mortgage. I could pay down my mortgage, no worries. All I'm saving, if interest rates are 2%, all I'm saving is 2% per year. That's it. But when interest rates go from, this is why it's related to debt so much, because when interest rates go from 2% to 6%, if you borrowed $1 million, 1 year the interest repayments were $20,000. That's not principal. You're not paying down the debt. And this is the way 10, 15, 20 years ago house investors operate that own. You hear the guy who has 20 houses, and you're like, what? How does that work? He's not paying the principal. He's just making the interest repayments, knowing that over time, the house growth, because of the leverage, the house growth will outpace, and he can borrow more and more money.
Right, because he's leveraging that equity of the houses that he has now with their increased value.
It's not he's leveraging the equity, but equity really isn't all that important in this aspect of what we're trying to understand, because that does confuse things when you talk about equity. Like most people would hear equity and not even know what it means. It just
bring it back to debt. We'll bring this back to debt because we're going down like the investment path.
Yeah. So that $20,000 that we were making our repayments upon at 2% interest rates, then
goes up to 6%.
Then it goes up to 6%. Now, that mechanism there, how someone is in charge of making that decision, to me, most people take that as granted. Financial professionals take that as granted.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Yeah, why is that happening?
Why does that guy get to decide how much it is to borrow? And I went down that rabbit hole, and that's the stack of books.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of like books, when it does come to educating yourself surrounding debt and maybe a little bit of investing, because they seem to be, do you feel like debt and investing kind of go hand in hand with one another? Or are they two separate?
Yeah, no, they definitely go hand in hand, because it gives you the ability to access money. And companies are all running on debt. Even Apple printing money, they got debt.
Yeah.
Microsoft's got debt. They all use debt as a tool. And you can use debt as a tool for the right things, or just like a knife, it can be used to make a sandwich or to attack someone.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that case, well, firstly, is there any books you would recommend for someone just getting into debt/investing?
I think you need to question things, and I think you need to start asking questions. Why?
Yeah.
That's being contrarian by nature allowed me to not take it as a granted. If you just take all these aspects and ideas as a granted, then you'll never win. You'll never outpace the game. So I'm looking over there at the shelf. Good People Break Bad Laws by Toffer Field, an Australian guy who lived in Melbourne.
Yep.
It's mostly around the COVID protests. And my journey on that has dramatically shifted, and what I thought and viewed based on what the media told us and what my rights were as a person and what the government made us do. I didn't ask why. I just did it. I did what I was told. And so that's a great book for really seeing the other side of that situation and going, wow, if there's two sides to a story, let's hear both sides. And I'm sure the truth's probably somewhere in the middle. Both sides will be, being a bit hyperbolic and exaggerating a situation, making it sound worse than maybe it is. That's based on our subjective experience with the world. You see the world very differently to the way I see the world based on our experiences beforehand. So
it's also independent thinking. That's what this book sounds like. It's leaning you towards. It's creating questions.
You have to be an independent thinker. You have to think. The market's telling you in investing, right? The market is telling you, here's the cost of a thing. Here's the price of a thing. Yep. West Farmers is worth this much money. Drone Shield is worth $2.6 billion this morning.
Wow.
Okay.
Are they drones?
Yeah, they're drones. Yeah. They're the drone defense system.
Yeah.
And they're an Australian company, and they're utilized in Europe at the moment mostly, and Israel and Palestine, and that area.
Go.
And so the market's telling you it's worth that.
Yeah.
If you think it's worth more, you buy it. If you think it's worth less, you sell it. You have to be contrarian. You have to have a different view. If you believe in the efficient market hypothesis, which means that the market is priced the way it is priced and it is correct, it is always correct.
Yep.
Well, there's no point in investing. Don't worry about it. Put your money in the whole market and just go, it's efficient. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to figure it out.
What about then, and this conversation has quickly become an investing one, which I'm happy for.
Yeah, we were talking about debt.
This is just what we're meant to talk about. What about emotions and money then? Because I can imagine in the penny stock that you were just describing, it goes up to 60. It goes up to 60 cents.
I'm a genius,
cents.
Man.
You're like, man, I'm the fucking man.
I'm the smartest bloke on the planet.
Exactly. You are. For that moment, you are.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you start seeing it crashing down.
Yeah.
And I think it's either Graham Stephan or who's a really rich guy, like the old one that made all his money. It was Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
Yeah. Talks about the most unemotional, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, I think talks about this. The most unemotional person with their money is the one who ends up making the most money because they don't sell. You could have sold.
Michael Burry.
I don't know who that is.
He's the Big Short, the movie The Big Short.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And he bet against the American housing market.
Yeah.
And all his investors are yelling at him, you're an idiot. You're doing the wrong thing. Hundreds and hundreds of emails. And his investment goes down and down and down and down until he's right.
Yeah.
And then he's genius.
And he's a billionaire.
Yeah. Now he owns prisons.
Yeah.
He invests in prisons in America. Why? He thinks that crime, he thinks that there's a problem with the world and that he's picking the next thing. Well, when you learn about a thing, when you learn about the world, you can, why are you reading books, Ryan? Freaking hell, get a hobby, man. Go play some golf. Go to the gym. Well, if I can predict what is going to happen with the world, I can make money. And I can buy my freedom back and I don't have to work. Let's get back towards debt, maybe.
We will lean back towards debt because, this is something that I'm curious about. You've just spoken a lot about positive debt. So what debt can do for you and how we can use debt surrounding this. But what about the negative?
Yeah, the shackles of debt is what
you see it everywhere. People have been hearing about golden handcuffs since they were little kids. Golden handcuffs is something that's slang within terminology everyone fucking hears about. But then they still end up in these things, and they've got this car they can't afford, or this mortgage they can't afford, or after payment falling out of there is, and they're just living paycheck to paycheck. And it's a huge percentage of the world too. I've only got the American numbers off the top of my head, but it's something 70 to 80% of people live paycheck to paycheck. And
it is.
Even less.
It's more than that in America, I think.
Yeah. Even less have more than $1,000 in their checking account.
I mean, America's a very different economy, different system. But similar things happen here. What do most people do? Why do most people have debt? You tell me.
Well, it's the delayed gratification that we started this conversation about. It's lack of delayed gratification. It's I want the instant hit of dopamine. I want to keep up with appearances.
But for consumer debt,
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, it's also young people not realizing that you're probably going to be here for a while.
Yeah,
telling a 20-year-old, hey,
it's the marshmallow test.
Yeah, repeatedly.
Yeah. So the marshmallow test is kids are sat in a room.
Yep.
Here's one marshmallow. In 15 minutes, I'm going to come back. If it's still there, I'm going to give you two. But they never come back, and they just time how long that particular person can withstand not eating the marshmallow.
Yeah.
And that can determine your ability to delay gratification. It's funny. Google it, YouTube it. Some kids just like stare at it, they lick it, they take a little bit, or some just eat the whole thing.
Yeah. I'm going to have this now. Yeah.
I mean, what's your understanding of debt in terms of where do you get debt from? Look,
it's basically put it in front of you as like a buffet as a kid. Like, and I'm 25 right now, and I still consider myself a kid in many aspects of the world because there's so much to learn about. But I'll say kid, teenager, like in your 20s, in your early 30s, there's whether it's buy now, pay later, like things which there's thousands of them now. They're everywhere. You walk into a store, there's after-payment logos plastered everywhere at the checkout, which basically says, if you can't afford this right now, you can still have it right now.
Don't worry about it.
And future you's going to have to do this.
Toys R Us had lay-by for,
Yeah, lay-by has been
a decade.
Ages. For example, when I was 21 and I was working full-time at Rip Curl and I just moved down to Dramana, I had become the manager of the store and I was on $63,500 a year. And I thought, boy, we made it.
Money bags.
Yeah, we're making money right now. And I had my car at the time and it was like an old beat-up 2008 Holden Astra. Drove it down to the beach and thought, man, this is great. I'm surfing, I'm chilling out, living life. I'm down the peninsula. This is rad. Got my hair long. And as I'm leaving the surf, I'm looking out at the sunset going, man, life's so great. Bang, hit a kangaroo.
Oh.
Front of my car gets messed up.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, shit. What am
Did you have full comp insurance?
Not even remotely, dude.
No.
I had no insurance.
You had no insurance?
Nothing.
That's one certain way to find yourself in bucket loads of debt. No insurance, like third-party insurance even. You crash into a Merc?
Exactly.
You're done. You're done. You owe 50 grand or...
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. And that's just where I was at. Like, this is during COVID. No one told me money management.
Yeah.
As a kid, I come from a background of debt, essentially.
No one taught me money management either.
Yeah, new shiny thing here or there all the time. Oh, you just paid off your like $50,000 debt that you're owing on the house. Oh, let's get $100,000 pool installment. Like that's kind of the background that I'm coming from. So when I hit this kangaroo, luckily kangaroo survived, and then its friend came up to me and started jumping into my car to add insult to injury because it wasn't happy that I hit its mate. Within 10 minutes, Ryan, I had gone, all right, I'm going to call my brother, my stepbrother, who, or my half brother, sorry, my brother, who is really good with money. He's a not financial advisor, he's a mortgage broker, so he's done quite well for himself. And I was just like, all right, I'll call him. He knew a guy who did car or small loans. I got in contact with him, and this will all make sense soon. I'm a 21-year-old making $63,000 a year. I get in conversation with him. My ego and desire for something new goes, I want the newest car. Or I wanted a 2015 Subaru Outback in blue, which is exactly what I got. Originally, I went from I'm going to borrow $10,000 to I'm going to borrow the whole loan for this car. And I'm going to get $28,000 in loans on a 12.5%.
You become a victim of the salesman because they know what they're doing.
You know what's crazy?
And your own susceptibility.
He told me the person doing the it's not a mortgage plan. Like, what's it called? The debt. Like,
I don't know.
What I can't. The loan, like the person who was doing the loan, actually advised me not to do it.
Yeah, right.
Like he was like
at the car yard.
This wasn't at the car yard, so I went through a third party.
Okay.
Yeah, because I bought it privately.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So the person that I was going through actually said, "You probably don't need that big of a debt." Me in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Oh, I'm making $63,000 a year."
Yeah, 20 grand. I can pay that off.
Yeah, 20 grand more.
Third of the year, I paid off in 3 months.
30 grand. I was like, dude, this will be gone in like no time.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got the car, which ended up being like $28,000 worth of debt, All of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm stuck with a $650 repayment for the next 5 years of my life.
And that's going to cost me, it's a $28,000 debt. That's going to cost me $40,000. So when we talk about intrinsic value, the intrinsic value of the car, we can say it's $28,000, but you bought it for 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's a hard lesson to learn. So is not having insurance. It could have been a worse lesson to learn.
Maybe. But, yeah, it was the lesson that it was.
And I've made the exact same mistake with the look. I'm sure I've driven my car uninsured and not been aware of it. Didn't check my email. Didn't renew my plan.
I knew I was driving without insurance.
I gave you I threw you that life jacket, bro, and you pushed it aside.
I'll own it.
But I made the same mistake with a car. I bought the Jeep. I bought the $25,000 Jeep, and I got salary sacrifice that you can get at some workplaces. And I was on maybe 85,000, maybe 80,000. No, it wasn't that much actually. I might have been in the same situation.
Yeah.
At like 27 years old.
You were newly a teacher in this situation.
Yeah, and I had the money to buy it, and I was like, no, I'm gonna salary sacrifice, and they just take the pre-tax money out of your income, and they worry about the tax later. So you talked into it that you're saving on tax.
Yeah,
you're not, because you do the same thing. And maybe my situation wasn't slightly as bad as yours, but then it's called an opportunity cost, right? Because it prevents your ability to purchase an asset that is going to go up in value rather than an asset that is going to go down in value. That car will continue to needs petrol, needs service, needs new tires, needs broken this, broken that.
All of those things kicked me.
Yeah, and they kick you while you're down, and it's just way more. That's the depreciating asset. So same as the afterpay. Kids, and during COVID, afterpay stock went from $1 to $150.
What?
Yeah. People got rich betting on, it's disgusting because people got rich betting on people like yourselves making bad decisions and being burdened by debt. And they got rich because they predicted that humans during COVID in particular would make that mistake.
And you use the word so perfectly then, the burden of debt, like debt being a burden. We're talking about good debt versus bad debt right now. When debt becomes a burden, dude, it weighs on you. It's always in the back of your mind. You're like, how am I going to make this payment? How am I going to make that payment? People are reaching into your paycheck every single week. You're going, what do I do here? How do I climb? It becomes exhausting. And it's really sad because most of the people this is happening to, right, are between the ages of 18 to 30, which is the span where it's like the number one investment you can make is yourself.
The compounding of that, the missed opportunity of that is exactly why superannuation exists. You need to put this money aside now. We're so bad at delaying gratification. The government makes businesses pay people more, 12% per year extra, and then so that they don't touch it.
Yeah.
So that they can leave it there, and then people get it out. They get their teeth fixed. They get it out to buy a house. Like that's not the worst example. If you can get it out to buy a scarce asset, yeah, it makes sense. And superannuation is just continuing to change. Debt, back towards debt, because as you can see, you asked me a question about one thing about it. Just that's how the world works. It spans all these different.
It's how money works.
Interfaces, and you have to understand more of it to be able to understand the principle behind the question.
Escaping debt. Then, can you tell me about when you went from because in your case it's different. You went from bad debt, we'll call it, to good debt, we'll call it. What was that transition like for you, going from having the mortgage on the house and also the loan for the car to then selling the house and, not sacrificing salary for your car and investing that money instead in something you believed was going to compound over time.
Ask the start of that question again.
Tell me about the transition from debt working against you to you working with debt.
So you've borrowed that money from the future. Now you got to work harder. Yeah. You got to work twice as hard.
This is your situation.
To catch up. I've always been a great saver.
Yep.
I was always fantastic at saving money. Bought the car, paid off the car. That meant I couldn't buy a house. That's why I was working. Then I saved enough money to be able to put a deposit down for a house. Couldn't buy the house because it was a hot market at the time. No one's interested in a first home buyer. No one's interested in my bids. Everyone can outbid me.
Yep.
I was a single person buying a house. Like, I got so fed up with the whole thing, dealing with real estate agents and mortgage brokers. The mortgage brokers screwed me over. So you said your brother's a mortgage broker? Yeah. I tensed up in my chair. It's like, no, I'll let him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I bought the house. And then I realized shortly after that, as you did with the car loan, man, like 3/4 of my paycheck is going towards paying off this thing.
And they don't really make you that happy. Like the car.
No, because you already got the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not working towards nothing. I already got it. Why do I got to pay for it now? It's like when you sit down to a lavish dinner, you're like, more food. And then you see the bill and you're like, why would I pay for that?
Yeah.
I'm not even hungry. You already ate it.
Yeah.
So the house situation, I realized I had to work a lot harder. The other thing that most people miss is that for a third of the year, until Easter, you are paying the government tax.
Every time I hear this, because I've heard that before,
you're working for free till Easter.
It breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
And this is why people invest in houses, because they're like, I'm going to run a negative gearing asset, like investment. That means you're losing money on the investment. That's what negative gearing means. Yeah. They're purposely losing money in interest repayments to buy a scarce asset because they'd rather do that than pay the government.
Is that valuable in any type of way?
It used to be.
Yeah.
It does because of the tax code. Like if you're making over $180,000, it kind of makes sense because you're paying 45% tax on every dollar over 180,000. So if you go from making 180,000 to making 200,000, you're only making 11,000 more dollars, right, even though you think you're making 20,000 more. And in your mind, yeah, I make 63 grand, so I can have 28 grand of debt. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, you got to pay tax on that. So you're only on 40, and now you owe 40 over 5 years.
I basically
That's
owe
one year of every dollar of your savings is going to paying that thing off.
Nothing's worth that.
You can pay the debt off quicker, so getting out of it, then you're not having to pay the interest repayments. And that's what most people think is a really prudent thing to do. I pay down my house. I'm being extremely responsible. Yeah, you are. But guess who's not being responsible? The rest of the world and the governments around the world that control the money supply. Money supply is growing at above 10% in most jurisdictions. Not in America, because based on the history of money, they're the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry. They've got the best currency and everything else sort of filters around it. And the money supply globally is growing 10%. That means that money has to go somewhere. That's why you borrow for the house, because it's a scarce, desirable, tangible asset that as the money supply grows, it goes up. It has to. If it goes down, the whole system collapses. It's impossible. Look, it might happen, but then the debt in the house isn't the problem. If that happens and the houses collapse, this house goes down 30%, like it's extremely recessionary. People lose their houses, and then it compounds negatively. It goes the other way, and it means the whole system collapses. It's game over, and you don't need the house. Like, no one's going to take it from him because everyone's in the same position. People be fighting in the streets. People be just looting stores. That's the reality of the situation. So you think you're being prudent by paying down your house debt, but everybody else has taken advantage of that situation. And the people that understand this mechanism, that scarce, desirable assets have to go up over time, they're going to beat you.
Well, it's diamonds, right? Like the reason diamonds are so expensive is simply because they're rare, and a bunch of marketing to go behind it as well. Diamonds are forever and all that bullshit.
It's the marketing that got that situation. If you look at diamond prices now, they've actually fallen off a cliff. Do you know why?
What?
Artificial diamonds.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And everyone's fine with them now.
Yeah.
By the way, if you guys don't know this, because I was actually looking at engagement rings the other day with my girlfriend.
Another fantastic financial decision.
Fantastic.
It's a social decision. It's a romantic, meaningful decision to invest in a relationship. Amazing.
100%.
But why do you have to spend 10 grand, 5 grand, 20 grand on a thing that signifies your relationship and just drags you both down?
100% agreed. The whole, it's got to be a month of your salary.
I'm very passionate about this. That's why I jumped you on it.
But we spoke to the jeweler about it, and I don't know if people know this. I'm sure a lot of people do, but synthetic diamonds, the only reason that they can tell that they're synthetic is because they're perfect. Like a synthetic.
How's that? I'll pay more for the imperfect thing.
Yeah,
just like my relationship.
Exactly,
because we're all imperfect.
100% deep in meaning. Oh, now I've got to get a raw diamond, but an artificial diamond. A ring would cost you the same ring, same stone, same cut, all that, with an artificial diamond that's perfect as a diamond would cost you $2,500. One that would have raw diamonds, you're looking at about $10,000.
Yep.
For it, simply for those imperfections,
and good luck insuring it.
Exactly, and then it all goes into this whole mass psychology behind money and what things are. Apparently, do you use the word inherently worth, like our perceived value?
Intrinsic value. Yeah. What is that diamond worth? Well, how much energy and time went into mining it, cutting it, bringing it here? $2,000 worth. Okay, the intrinsic value is, we can say definitively, it's worth $2,000.
And then they got to make margins.
Now you have to, you guys are selling it. You got to pay the store person. You got to pay the rent on the building, and this is why globalization brings the prices of everything down, because with more time and energy into creating a system of global supply chains and cheap labor around the world, you now get the thing that you want cheaper. You can buy that thing from IKEA, and it might fall apart, or you buy the thing from Temu. It costs you $2 from a couch. From a couch off Temu. The intrinsic value is $2, and because it is $2, and then you get what you pay for.
Yeah. I've always liked the saying of you either buy once or you buy twice.
Yeah, my brother has that saying too. Yeah, but buy something good once, or you buy the same thing 5 times.
Exactly. These microphones that you have, you could have bought a microphone for $50. That sound quality wouldn't have been as good. Might have broken on you. Blah 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 blah. But instead, you buy it once, and now you got a microphone for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah, I do want to get deeper into how someone transitions from being habitually someone who's in debt to not being someone who's habitually in debt through your mind. Because do you know what the stats are for people who are in debt and people who...
They're less happy and they die quicker and they are more likely to commit suicide, and their relationships dissolve and they're miserable and they're
divorce.
Yeah. I'm tipping it's that.
It is. The number one reason for divorce is money.
Yeah.
It is the number one problem across the board. But do you know percentage wise of people who are saying they're suffering with money problems or complaining about money problems?
Probably majority of people, 95% of people.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get into the psychology of how someone, because it's something I feel I'm going through actively right now. How someone goes from someone who either needs to be in debt or spends all of their money all the time or habitually just runs their accounts to zero. How someone goes from that stage to looking, and I guess this is touching on investing too, and that's because they're so deeply connected. How does someone go from that mindset to I'm going to use money as a tool to support me, and stop having this fear and anxiety surrounding money and talking about it? I know this is a really loaded question, so take it where you want to take it.
I'm always going to take it. Weird places. your situation, for example, how to get out of your situation.
Yeah, because I think my situation is fairly common.
Let's frame it. What is your financial situation?
My financial situation is I have $17,000 in debt going towards my car.
That's the principal that's still owed on it?
That's what's still owed on it, yeah. I think I'm at the 2.5 year mark, so most of what my repayments are is directly on the principal.
Yeah.
I'm making $1,200 to $1,400 per week before tax, and I've just cleared Afterpay, which is really great.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 weeks away from having for the first time ever, like $1,000 safety net, the whole Dave Ramsey thing. And I don't feel like money's controlling me as much anymore.
Can you put that $1,000 onto your loan?
Yeah.
And then are you able to re-withdraw it?
No.
Okay. So once it goes, it stays there. If you could, that's the best way to do it. You just put all the money into it and then you pull out what you need at the time if they're not going to charge you more.
Yeah.
That's what I do with the house debt. I put all my disposable income into the offset account, which is meaning that my interest repayments are slightly lower. Now the debt is high.
Yeah.
The house I owed on the house is $800,000,
right,
and I might have $15,000 safety net that's sitting in the house offset account
that you can get.
It's probably meaningless. Like it might be saving me $20, $30, $40, $50 per month off my interest repayments, but it's better than nothing. And I'll scrape for those pennies.
Yeah.
That's you do that 5 times in different ways. You buy the home brand instead of the name brand thing. You don't buy the supplements. Yeah, we love our supplements, Ryan.
I do.
but we buy the cheap supplements off eBay, and you go, I'm going to have to make a compromise here because it's all lifestyle choice. You're making lifestyle choices that are benefiting you now, and you do it every day. What subscriptions are you paying for? Is this how you want? Did you want this to be a personal situation?
Yeah, I'm happy to do this because I actually think my situation is probably the common one.
Yeah,
for a lot of people of my demographic. Like I think I'd be a very easily relatable person for this. But subscriptions right now, it's like $50 for my Whoop per month.
What's that?
My Whoop is my fitness tracker, my health tracker.
Get rid of it.
And again, like, see, so this is like the interesting thing, right? Of like debt. It's like, what is positive debt? What is negative debt? What is positive spending? What is negative spending?
Yeah.
Because I'm very big on the whole, and this kind of gets into my ethos of money being an energy thing. What you put your money towards, you're directly telling yourself, this is important to me.
That's right.
Yeah. So my health, for example, my health tracker is important to me. So to me, that's an investment. And again, like you can...
Let me jump in right now. Like, why does... You can invest in your health. You can track it yourself. I'm sure whatever the app's doing, you can do it. It might be clunkier and take more time.
I can't count my heartbeats per minute. I can't count my heart rate very
You can get free heart rate monitors, though.
From?
Well, your phone probably does it.
Yeah. Do I want my phone on me 24/7?
Again, lifestyle choices. But
True.
So I just would ask why. Everything you're saying, I'm like, I'm sure there's a cheaper way to do it. I'm sure there's a better way to do it. I'm sure there's a free way to do whatever it is you're doing. There's a free way to do it.
Yeah.
I've got a dodgy app on my phone that streams movies. I'm not paying Netflix. I'm not paying Stan.
Fair.
I ain't doing it. I'll pay $36 in the dodgy app. They probably have my data.
All of it.
They got my data anyway, man. Like Qantas,
they got your face scans.
they all Medibank, they got my data. I ain't worried. So I'm the tightest. Like the people who have the most money are the tight. You know what Zuckerberg wears?
The same thing.
He wears a $5 Anko shirt. Like I roll around and people probably think that I'm really struggling financially because I'm content. I'm wearing my buddy Tommy jumper now, so I've sort of
fancy
because I'm recording. I'm putting it up there, but I'm the stingiest guy going around, and I'll change gym memberships. You're going to charge me $2 extra a month? No, I'm changing. I'm going to Revo for $9.95.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not going anytime from $15.95 to $17.95. That will make me leave. Goodbye.
Really?
Ruthless.
Wow. That cutthroat with money.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is like, I think we're like, I believe most people have they have two issues. They probably have a spending issue as well as an earning issue. So
yes, if you can, so as your earning goes up, you can buy back those freedoms and those luxuries, and you can buy the nice microphone and the light and the box and
exactly right.
and the computer, because it's less of a percentage of my income than it is yours. But if you're trying to set up a nice studio, shit, I like Ryan's studio. I like his $600 sign. I'm gonna get myself a sign. But if you're making a third of the money that I'm making, then what's the point?
I did get in contact. What's this called again? What's this?
I don't know.
There's a word for that. The glowy shit. I did actually get in contact with someone who makes these.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really cool.
It's cool, man. I want one of those.
And then I was like...
But we're not the same.
And then I was like, you know what? My bank account doesn't
no, because it doesn't cost you $600 for the sign. It costs you $800 because that reduces your ability to pay down the debt that you've got. Consumer debt. I've got debt too, but my asset's going up in value. Yours is going down in value. Get rid of the debt. Yeah. So you need to scrape with your fingernails and penny pinch, buy the home brand this, get rid of the tracking app, get rid of the Netflix, get rid of all the subscriptions, and put that extra income into the debt. As a sole trader, which we are going to talk about in another episode, you actually have the ability to pay tax later. You get to afterpay your tax. Brilliant. Because that money can store against your credit card, against your car loan. Sit it in there. Yep. Put it in there. But most people, if you look up a savings calculator, a savings mechanism, most of them you need to save 20%. Spend 20% on this, 50% on your hobbies, 20% on your entertainment, and you get to save 30%. My theology has always been, I'm saving 85% of my money, and then I'm living like a bum.
Yeah. When does that stop for you, though? Or do you just let the bumminess eventually become middle class?
Bumminess is who I am. I like it. I sort of thrive in it. Because I love being contrarian and being different. Yep. But then when it comes to dating, this is where you want someone to love you for who you are. But when I was dating, I did have to spend more money, and I bought the car. I wanted the girls to like me. I wanted the nice thing and the nice haircut.
Different priorities.
Yeah, but I thought that I needed to. I thought, and unfortunately, society dictates, what value is, and people are superficial, and first impressions matter and all that. But the advice in your exact situation is work the extra job, do the extra hours. But there's no point doing the extra hours if you're like, I worked so hard this week.
I'm going to spend $900 on drinks or something.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to reward myself for that. I have to plug away, and I'm just... Once you identify with the fact that you need to sacrifice your time and you need to... I'm going to put the work in for a year and I can pay this debt. You could pay this debt off in a year. You could. You could probably pay it off in 6 months if you really tried.
I've used the Mr. AI, and, I can touch back in on this on the end of the year, but obviously you and I love our ChatGPT very much. With the projected income of what is to come in the next, by year's end, $10,000 in savings, as well as being debt free, is a really achievable goal.
Yep.
It
is achievable.
Yeah. And something you mentioned beforehand, I think was really powerful, which is, and this does tie into debt. Because I think you will get out of debt when you prioritize getting out of debt.
Yeah.
When it actually becomes a priority to you and you say, I don't want to be in this anymore.
Yeah.
That's when the change happens. When the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, that is when change happens, right? When the pain of being in debt becomes so great,
yes,
and you're so tired of it, that's when you'll get out.
And it's a pernicious feeling. You don't know it's there because you just make the weekly repayments. If you're not planning, if you're not thinking forward, I live in the future in my mind, and it's been a benefit in my ability to invest and save money, and it's been to my detriment because I'm why aren't I there yet? Why aren't I in a mansion yet? What's going on? And makes me really sad.
To this day,
yeah,
still lingers with you.
Yeah, because you move the chains in your mind.
Yeah,
and when my stock doubled, right, when it went from the week, I was almost crying with happiness because I'm like, I was right. I knew I was right, but this is validation. And I called my mate who he has been invested in Bitcoin for a long time, so he's got a bit of wealth there, in the 7-figure range, sitting in his bank account.
Sick.
And I said, if I go mansion shopping today, mentally, on realestate.com, am I going to screw myself over mentally?
Yeah.
And he's like, probably, yeah. But you got to do it because you got to scratch that itch.
So you did go mansion shopping.
I went mansion shopping, and I did the thing that you did with the car salesman. I was looking at the 1.5 million house. Yeah, but if I wait a little bit longer, I get the 1.8 million house.
I was looking at $4.8 million homes down in
and you're going to buy it with cash because you're not taking debt. I need to speak to you about that debt too, probably at the end of this episode, and this is going over. So I'll wrap up what I'm going to say, and then I went looking at the $2.5 million house. Yeah, but if I just sacrifice a bit more, or I put more money into this idea that is this brilliant idea, and I think it's going to be worth more one day, then I'll get there quicker.
So this is the endless marshmallow test that people talk about. So we spoke about the marshmallow test at the start of this episode, right? You're now in a spot where you're constantly waiting for another marshmallow because they go, oh, you've got 2 marshmallows. If you wait a little bit longer.
I love the journey though. And you can't, the hardest part about getting a multi-bagger in a stock or making an investment, even if it's your house, the hardest part of that is holding the multi-bagger and not selling it and going, I'm going to use that now.
Yeah.
Like I often contemplate selling the house. Maybe I come out $100,000 ahead after selling the house because I've got so much debt attached to it because I don't care. I don't care about the house. Selling the house and going living in the bush.
Yeah.
And changing my living in like a small shack. Like what do we need? Why do we need bigger, better stuff? Why do I need the new car? Why can't I just have the smaller car? Why can't I have the smaller house, live debt free? My existence will be completely different to the majority of people because I chose to think differently and do that. And one day I hope to do that, but I don't even think I'm capable of making that lifestyle choice. And there's a second half of me that I don't think is capable of making that choice, less so than I am, because she likes the nice things.
I also don't think you want that, because if you wanted it, you'd have it. You just said that you have the ability to kind of do it now. And if you were going to do it, you would have done it.
Yeah, well, it's hard to walk away from, life's more, it is more than money.
It is.
There's purpose and meaning, and I get good feelings from doing what I do within skilled carer. So I don't want to leave that.
One thing I do want to quickly touch back on.
Yeah.
That I think is really important for people to know when it comes to, we were talking beforehand about, you could clear your debt in 6 months or 12 months, whatever it may be. Periodizing. So periodizing is something that's talked about in training a lot of the time. You go through a period of, say, rehab, and then you'll go through a period of strength training to build up towards, say, a powerlifting event or playing in the NBA. This is the NBA's off season. So you've healed, and then you grow, and then you peak. These are all periods.
Peaking at the right time.
Peaking at the right time, but we're not talking about peaking. We're talking about periodizing. So,
but isn't periodizing? Isn't the idea of that to peak at the right time?
Sure. But the idea of periodizing is to create continual forward progression towards a goal. Yeah. So, for example, I'm aware and I'm fully surrendered to the fact that in September to the end of the year, I'm going to be working more hours than I'm used to. But it's for a period. And it's not forever. Yeah. So I think a lot of the time when people are in situations where their health is out of whack, their relationship's out of whack, whatever it is out of whack, yeah, you can put a concentrated 6 months, 12 months into that. And then there's going to be a version of you 6 months, 12 months from now that's really happy that you did that. That doesn't have to do it anymore. Because you've already done it. My bad.
That's delaying the gratification and sacrificing
temporary
for the now.
Yeah.
But what? Yeah, go for it.
It's sacrificing. It's not even sacrificing. It's using your present moments, your present next 3 month, 6 month burst to set up the future you to maybe be able to chill a little bit more. And you see this all the time. You see all athletes, for example, have an off season. The reason they have an off season is because they rev their engine really hard and they're pushing the absolute limit of their body, and then they have a rest.
Sustainability.
That's the thing, right? So most people, if they're say someone's like $600,000 in debt, which isn't out of the pocket these days with like housing prices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a family income of $150,000.
Mm-hmm. They're doing all right. They're probably based on the average family with 2 professionals in a household.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're doing okay from an income point of view, but that's $600,000 of debt. Unless they like sell their house or something like that, which may be an option. That's going to take some time for them to clear out, right?
30 years.
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah. Or they could
infinity.
Or they could do the whole thing of like, let's try to live off $50,000 for the next 7 years and pay $100,000 of this off.
That's a prudent way to do that. It's a prudent way to save.
Would be them clearing the debt. It's a prudent way to do it, but it's also only temporary.
And it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Right? It's what I was talking about at the start, with the ability to access debt. Give me as much debt as you can, but I'll use it the right way.
Yeah.
That, although prudent, although respectful, is the wrong way to view it.
Interesting. Okay. When it just comes to housing debt, or with the whole like
housing debt, because that asset is going up in value.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was like the wrong example, but the whole periodizing thing is what I was trying to
what you've explained makes perfect sense.
It's temporary.
But the reason why I say it's the wrong thing to do is because that what they're doing is the right thing to do, but then just moving a couple of things, putting the money somewhere else is the right thing to do.
Would be the beneficial thing.
Yeah, because you talk about risk at the start, you only have access to one asset class, the housing market in Australia, not globally, in Australia. I want to diversify and get access to a different asset class. I need to get access to the stock market.
Yeah.
How am I going to do that? Well, instead of paying in the house, I put money into the stocks that's going up at 10%. Now you have exposure to 2 asset classes. You're not missing out on the house growth. You get access to the house growth that's going up at, I don't think it goes up at the rates that it has before. It's unserviceable, which means it can't unless incomes extravagantly grow. So maybe it appreciates at 2 to 5% per year, which would still be good because remember you've got leverage. So that $600,000 house goes up at 2% per year, 5% per year, whatever. Right? That's now going up 18,000 to 25,000 per year. Right? That's wrong. 18,000 to 30,000 per year. 2 to 5%.
Quick math.
That's the opportunity there. And you still get exposure to that because you have the asset. You're just not, now you have the access to the stock market that's going up 10% per year. And although you might only be putting, instead of 50,000 on the house, put it in a stock market that goes up at 10% per year. You get 5% growth in the houses. You get 10% growth in the stocks over time. Don't touch it. Don't do it if you need the money and you got to pull it out. Then you can't do it because the stock market goes down 20% and you crystallize that loss and you sell it and you lost money. Well, that's a stupid idea, Ryan. You just lost money. Not financial advice.
None of it.
So then it's worth 55,000 next year and you keep putting it into that. You've got exposure to 2 different asset classes. Bitcoin's emerging as a new asset class. Get off zero, get some exposure to it.
Yeah.
Learn about it. Understand why digital scarcity is important and pristine collateral that doesn't decay like a house, because that house is actually costing you money each year too. So when it's an investment to when it's your home, 2 very different ways at looking at a house.
Yeah.
When it's an investment, it is a horrible investment today.
Yeah.
That's how I view it. My personal opinion. I have a view on the world based on what I know about it, and then I put my money where my mouth is and invest in those things. I sold the investment property because it's a stupid investment for me in that situation. It wasn't even paying for itself, and I was constantly fixing stuff, and the tenants treated it like rubbish. and I'm paying rates and I'm paying land tax. It's costing me 40 grand a year and I'm getting 25 grand rent. After owning it for 7 years and paying down some of the principal. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I put that money somewhere else and it's going to grow over time and not cost me money to sink into it. Even though I'm losing leverage, you know, the housing market has different houses that are different quality assets. Making the work the reward, doing this 3-month stint of working your butt off, yeah, you'll drop out. You'll drop out in 3 months because you've already put that, not Stockholm syndrome,
like the limiter,
Stockdale syndrome, where the people in prison in... I'll look this up.
You're talking about when the prisoners of war back in World War II, there were two groups. There was the optimists who said we'll be out by Christmas. They weren't out by Christmas.
And
they said they'd be out by Easter.
They didn't survive.
They didn't survive. The Stockdale, did you say? Stockdale?
Yes. Stockdale paradox.
Paradox is, it will be done. I will get out. I don't know when, but at some point I will get out.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because you're putting a time frame in there, can you see where you could be susceptible here?
So for me, the reason why I've put the time frame in there is because
you're periodizing the work.
It's periodizing, which makes it manageable, which means it's more likely that I'm actually going to do it because I'm doing something at a rate that
you're doing something that's different. It doesn't mean that idea can't change, I guess, down the track. But the reason why my existence is very different to that, the work's a reward for me. I enjoy going to work. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I enjoy getting people like yourself opportunities for work. I enjoy working with participants and doing activities. And even though it sucks some days and it's hard, because I enjoy it, the work is the reward.
Yeah, and then the byproduct of that,
I can do it forever. I've done it for 7 years. Yeah. I've worked 7 days a week for 10 years.
Exactly.
Much less now. That's not my situation now. But at times I've done that because I made the work the reward. I enjoyed it. I wanted to do it. It was sustainable. That results in the financial. And the same thing as reading a book. I hate reading. I hate it. I'd much rather listen to a podcast. But because I enjoy the work, wow, I learned something. That was really painful, but I learned something and I feel I get the dopamine hit. Same thing as lifting the weights. I love it. I love it. I love it. If you're enjoying the pain and tricking your mind into thinking that you enjoy the pain, you'll be there every day. You get the gains. If you're there standing on the treadmill hating it, then you're not going to survive. You won't last.
You won't do it.
You've got to change your mindset and think different. And everyone along the way is going to tell you you're wrong. You need to prioritize yourself, Ryan. You're working out too much. You're working 7 days a week. It's too much, man. You've got to have a rest day. It's like finding the balance of that David Goggins thing.
You got to find that work. Like, it's everyone saying you got to find that work-life balance. That was really inspirational. That's really cool. I like what just came out of you. So that was fun.
I can rev a rant. Don't worry about that.
That was bad.
Feel sorry for my students over 12 years because I get going.
No. Well, look, I think that's a really good place to leave it on the surrounding debt. The final thing I would want to say is just to encourage people to talk about debt
and money. Talk about money.
Talk about money, but
figure it out.
Talk about it in a way where, like, you're not demonizing the money. You're not demonizing debt. You're figuring out ways to make this work for you because you're only a slave to it if you say you're a slave to it.
It exists regardless. So you might as well, like, you're going to spend 80,000 hours working your whole life to earn the thing of money. Yeah. You might as well figure out what the hell it is and how to keep it.
Yeah. Well, the saying you were saying that I loved the other day was, like, you're going to spend 80,000 hours working. You might as well spend 1,000 hours learning about money.
Yeah. Not even that much. 100 hours learning about it. Just learn about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're stuffed.
Which is what you're doing right now if you're listening to this. So well done.
If you've remained with us. All right.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.